All right, let's get into the sun and moon and the gold and silver and the black gold, that petro that we are in right now, and that petro, that beast system, that lowest chakra, and the petro we pump from lower earth. So let's bring these things together as the lower earth is coming to the surface for that subsurface war that I've mentioned as the so-called Aquaman, that Poseidon goes down to the abyss, and we have the cannabis and all those things from schedule 1 to 3 and those wild times and whatever else. So let's understand some things here. So we have gold, 999% purity, silver, 999% purity, and a mirror reflection, a miracle. That 666 hits, and that BBB on a letter form, depending how you write your letters, is like a child. It's part of that man-child episode, and things might be a little backwards here. Got that little dyslexia. And this is where that rulers of darkness, so-called, are ruling this visible spectrum, and that gospel, that ghost spell. Well, he doesn't even know how to spell his words right, or I can't read any of this stuff, and whatever else is going on. And this is where they're telling you this test, where they show you this, that, and the other. Even though all the words are mixed up, you still get the message, because it's based on this, and it's showing you that there's a certain type of program and certain type of algorithm, and we've been taught these things and built up on these things, and it's a spiritual thing. It's so much to put together, like, either way. So we have this dawn's light, the sun, this 80 years on 80 years, and the atomic clock, the atom bomb, and dawn turning 80, and the money 80, the jubilees, and all those little things. And that jubilee is here now, speaking as the Hillary, that woman clothed in the sun, went behind the hill and says, I do not have anything to say. And then now Clinton is speaking today and shining his light, and these things are going to be tying into those antichrist figures we were told about. All right, that we're going back behind closed scenes, but now we're under that second coming, and the light has been filled, and the oil's been restored in the body and taken out of the body, and the cholesterol, the fats have been placed with plastics and whatever else is fucking going on in this world. You're all eating, can't believe it's butter. And that was like one of the tested things back then. And then this is working great, guys. Okay, so they've been giving these kids, so-called, and whoever else, some type of methamphetamine, and that's part of that Methuselah. But this is showing you overlays on the spectrum, and that set as you went from the Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel, and then you have the Seth line, and that Seth is the set, and then it calls upon the Lord, and that calling upon the Lord is the Lord God, and this is a new Eden. As you have Eden placed eastward, that old Eden is here. You have the people come out of Eden, they go eastward into Nod, and that Nod is the dawn backwards, and the backwards, and you go into that new world. And then as you have to understand, it's here on the crossover, so when it gets to there, it's going to be reverse spectrum, and then it goes back that way, and that would be where you have the next 20 and 40 years, and we can see the rebuild of America as the SS. Basically, the Gestapo was created in 25, and then you have that SS created the SS Social Security, and this SS, the Serpent Seeds, and the Serpent Seeds are coming to battle as you have your hoo-hoo coming in, your hoo-hoo is your Hooters, and all those little things stacking in different ways. So as you have the dawn and that industrial system, that petro system coming to control that system, the underworld, that petro world, that mothership from under there that we're pumping out of, kind of whatever thing, is coming to control this, and that's part of an alien invasion in one way that we're shown in the projection, the TV and such, through the art world, and blessed art thou. And the creation, the art, the music people create just out of nowhere, that proves God is within all of us. God is inside everyone's mind. And this is where you have to understand the single eye. Is this something I learned from the world, or is this something that is an inner voice that came from within? Okay, because everything is already within, and there is a time and a season for this and that we're shown and told through the script. And as a script is a two-edged sword and can be flipped and flopped, and we're going through this now as we're realizing who that serpent is. And I'm going to get into another one on this to tie in your Revelation chapter 3 and your Genesis chapter 2, and the nakedness and the serpent giving sight. So Jesus is the one who gives sight. Jesus is the one who is truth and grace, that we are told, as Moses brings the law, and the law creates a veil. And we have an Old Testament law, we have a New Testament law with Paul, who is that part of that politics, but that Paul is coming as that father figure, that Vader, and he's chopping the head off with that saber. All right, the axe, and then that Romans, and the Romans 1, and that reprobate. And it's all a reverse psychology where it's actually making you into these things. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. The sun's light and the moon. We have a mix of two worlds. We have a dark sun. We have a sun we see. We have an eclipse. We have an eclipse taught with a dark sun. We have an eclipse taught with a moon. We have a teaching where the moon creates its own light. We have a teaching where the moon reflects the light. All these things, the heresy, the heresy, I see the mothership, the ear, the earth, how it's all divided and the truth is out. But we have a net to collect all these things so we can become the fisher of men, and that fish her, that fies her. And that fies her, that Wi-Fi is here to collect and connect to the world instantaneously, and to show us how we are all connected, all as one. But they want to keep you on that corner and that boxed in under that culture. I don't know, man, if he's should be controlling my life. I mean, if I don't, should be giving my 10% for him to teach me a book I can teach myself. And this is multiple layers. This same with your doctors who know zero about health. Okay, they only know how to pay their bills, which is paid by Pfizer, Merck, whoever the pill is or whatever. Okay, and then that's how they get paid, basically. And they also get paid charging you a $300 Band-Aid that costs you 5 cents. Well, there's nothing really we can do. We're just going to put a Band-Aid on here and bill your insurance company. And it's all owned by, it's one thing over here, basically. Don't you love capitalism? Under the Church of Amen, where you think you're rich, and that black gold, that alien nation behind the moon, the one who brought you here, it's all going to shine their light on you. And that's where you have Clinton and Obama and Biden, and you have these things playing out as far as a moon and dark side of the moon, the waning and waxing and waning, and the actual dark side when it's at full capacity brightness, and then the dark side when there is no moon. And this is kind of where you're going to be going in the world, in a way where there is no moon, as things go into that electronic era. All right, and the Tron holds the disc. And the Tron, the TRX, the T-Rex for that Ice Age and shit is the one you want to get. All right? Not all this shit from the false prophets. And these are the times when you become your own bank. And it's setting up the next United States. And America is just now being built. And we've had the Chinese do this, build our railroads. We've had the Mexicans build our houses. So now we got to cleanse it out. We got to do a DNA test in some sort of way. Establish the American community. ICE is worldwide. Okay? So the ICE collects the ice giants, the Uranus, the Urass, the dark side of the sun, the old Cyclops, brown eye blue. All that shit is coming in. And the blue, the brown eye. Crapture. Oh shit, for that June fan setting up for that Bruce Lee session. 1-inch punch! Okay, so I hope you have your punch glass loaded up as you're taking into a last sub pair. Okay? And you got your little tomatoes and your mayo. I hope that's mayo, sir. Well, no, it's not. I've been with the old politicians. I believe it is the semen that I see on that navel capacity for that C-section. All right, so that T-Pusa and that Charlie Kirk, that game of death, the faking one's own, and whatever else we might see with him, or they might need to flip-flop that shit for the sands of time. Either way, that Trump, America's going to be there. I and Erica. Either way, folks, this is all part of that lip syncing, that punishment of the Lord coming. Because the kingdom comes without observation. The Obama and the dark sons and the spreading of light and getting to a certain point in time, the second coming of the dawn in the second year, and a dawn means the Lord. So in that definition, so as the lights are colliding, we can now look back and put together these things, especially now that the woman is clothed in the sun on the 8th year, as far as 2017 and the dawn's light coming, and now you have Justin's son, who's tied to the Tron, also coming. And so as we look back, we can see where Clinton is this sun, dark sun, but that dark sun is tying to an eclipse and a moon and a on one spectrum as far as the eclipse pattern, but then once it separates, it becomes a dark sun, and then you have the visible sun being shown, and that may be shown in a couple patterns as you have these things coming together. And then that's where you have the Kanye, the Ye, has not, and those types of things I'll get into another video. And then you have James Vance, which is where you have the black angel or the white devil kind of thing. And you might just need to be that believer and not go with any of them in that kind of spectrum. Where you take the best of both worlds and you don't become the united, which is the divided. Either way, folks, as these worlds are colliding and the darkness is going back into that dark world and the alien nation and that computer, that computing, that Putin, all right, that Putin, that golf hole in one, whatever else kind of thing. So we are going to see how all these seashells got to be everywhere real soon. Soon enough, at least.